Yes. So in the last lecture, we were discussing this. What is the need of many-to-many relationship, right? And if you remember this problem, we were discussing this with two objects. So we created these two objects, book object and the author object, right? And we were about to create the relationship between these two, and we were trying to identify among these two, among the book and the author, which one is going to be the parent, which one is going to be the child. So initially what we thought is that, author is the parent and then book is the child. So we created one field inside the child object. So we created this particular field, author ID. And then we try to store the parent record IDs, author object IDs inside this. So that we came to know that, okay, Java programming. This book has been written by the author Ram Kumar with the ID A01. And this book has also been written by the George. So the ID of the George was A013. So we came to know that, in this particular entry, you cannot have multiple entries over here because this is something which is unique, this is something which is unique. And so we came to know that, you cannot keep this book as a child and, cannot make the author to be the parent. So we try with this vice versa possibility. And then what we do is that we assume that book to be the parent and then author to be the child. So this is the very first step of the relationship. Creating a relationship is only a two-step job. You first go to the child. First of all, out of two, identify the parent and the child, and then go to the child. As in step number two, you go to the child and then create a relationship field. So I created this particular field, book ID over here. And then I try to get the parent for the Ram Kumar. So Ram Kumar is an author. So Ram has written these two books, Java programming and the testing book. So for the Java programming, if I write down this B001, for this, the code is B003. Again, inside this particular, we came to know about that there are multiple entries are coming. And so our final conclusion is that out of these two objects, both of them are acting like a parent and no one is actually becoming the child. That is why we cannot create the relationship. We simply cannot create the relationship over here because both of the object, they are tending to be the parent object. So whenever you actually encounter this type of problem, whenever you are not being able to create a relationship just because there are two objects and both of them tends to be the parent, for this cases, you must understand this cannot be solved with the conventional way. This must be solved. There is only one way, there is only one way to create the relationship is to go with the many-to-many relationship. There's only one way. There is only one way to solve this problem is to go with the many-to-many relationship. And how you actually create the many-to-many relationship. So I already have written all this theory. So the many-to-many relationship is formed when there are two objects. First of all, there are two objects. And both of them tends to be the parent. Both of them appears to be the parent. None of them becomes the child. So you cannot create the direct relationship between these two. The only solution is what? There's only one solution is to go with the many-to-many relationship. They will ask you this question in the interview. When you told them there are altogether 6 kind of relationship. I want you all to tell this. When they ask this question, please tell that there are 6 relationship, neither 4 nor 3. Just tell them there are 6 kind of relationship. What are them? Lookup, external lookup, master detail, hierarchical. These are the 4 direct relationship. Apart from this direct, many-to-many and one-to-one. So when you tell this, there are 2 other kind of relationship, many-to-many and one-to-one. So there, they are probably more focused of getting answers from this many-to-many. What is many-to-many? How you create many-to-many? Why should you go for many-to-many relationship when you have this lookup, external, and the hierarchical relationship and master detail? So where we need to tell them, we need to tell them what is the scenario. See, we need to tell them if suppose there are 2 objects and we need to create the relationship between these 2 objects. The problem is that both of them appears to be the parent, and no one is tending to become the child. So in that case, we should go with many-to-many relationship. That is the case, that is the scenario where we actually form a relationship between these 2 objects with the help of a concept called as many-to-many relationship. Okay. So now how to establish this relationship, how to create the relationship many to many. So many to many relationship is formed with the help of a common child. First of all, both of them are parent. Yes, let them to be the parent. Let's them enjoy their hierarchy. We are not going to degrade them. Let them enjoy to be the parent. Let's create another object. Let me create one object over here. Let me create one object over here. Let me create one object over here. This is the object. I created this object with two columns. I created this object with the two columns. It could have some few more columns. It is not like that. It should have two columns. It is not like that. I created one more object. I created one more object. This object is going to be act like a common child for these two parents. It's going to be act like a common child for these two parents. This object is going to be act like a common child for these two parents. Let me rename this. This is the common. It's just a spelling of common here. Yeah. This is the common child for these two objects, and that common child is called as junction object. Junction, junction object. That common child is actually called as junction object. That common child is also called as junction object. So what is this object? This object is a common child. This object is a common child for these two parents. It is related to this parent. Let me tell you this. It is related to this parent. It is related to this parent. It is related to this parent. Okay. This object is related to this parent. This object is related to this parent. Show you that. Yeah, this object is related to this parent. This object is even related to this parent also. This object is related to book. This object is as well as related to the author. This object, what I mean, let me give a name to this object. Although it's a common child object must have a name. Object must have a name. Let me give a name. Maybe the name is, book auth object. It's a user defined thing, so I can give any name. Whatever the name I want, I can give them a name. So I'm giving it a name called as book author object. Let me give a name to this object as a book object. What is that object? This object is a common child. This object is a common child for both parents. This object is actually a common child for both parents. It is related to the book object. It is even related to the author also. This object is related to book. This object is also related to author. Okay. What kind of relationship? What kind of relationship is there between the object? Is there between the object and this book author object and the book? What is the relationship between this child object to the parent author object? What is the relationship? If there is a relationship, what is that relationship? Now I'm giving you two possibilities. Okay? I'm giving you two possibilities. This could be related in the lookup. This object could be related in the master detail one. ठीक है वो भी हो सकता है ठीक है हम रिलेशनशिप पे आते हैं एक्चुअली इट इज मास्टर डिटेल बट व्हाई नॉट लुकअप वी शुड थिंक अबाउट एवरी पॉसिबिलिटी वी शुड हैव आंसर फॉर एवरी व्हाई if you told them it has written there in the theory है ना आप सिर्फ इतना पढ़ के भी बोल सकते हो कि the junction object must be associated in master detail मुझे अगर इतना ही पढ़ाना होता तो मैं डिस्कशन यहाँ पे लेके आगे बढ़ सकता था आई टोल्ड इट ओके इट इज अ रूल ये रूल है एंड आई स्टॉप द डिस्कशन वी मूव फॉरवर्ड लेकिन ऐसा नहीं I know you are going to have a cross question on this. They will ask you this question: why only master detail? Why cannot the junction object be related in the lookup? Why cannot the junction object could be related in the lookup relationship? So we need to give them answer of that why. तो हम इसको अच्छे से डिटेल से पढ़ेंगे ठीक है स्टेप बाय स्टेप समझिए हर चीज को फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल देयर आर टू ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑथर बुक both of them parent okay fine no problem we create a third object which is a common child. It's a common child for these two parents. It's a common child. This common child object is generally called a junction object. This common child object is called a junction object. Okay. Now what it is going to store? Let me give the name. Okay. The name could be here. It is book ID. Here it is book ID, and here it is author ID. Okay. Here it is author ID. I give the name of two columns. There are only two fields. There are only two columns over here. The name are book ID and the author IDs. Okay. Now what is going to store? Let's see what this object is going to store. Okay, so there is a book, there's a book called as Java programming. There's a book called as Java programming. Now see how I am filling this all entries. Just concentrate over here. Everyone concentrate over here. How I am filling this entries. Just concentrate over here. There's a book called as Java programming, and the ID of this book is actually B001. Yes. The ID is what? The ID is B001. Now, who has written this book? Who has written this book? Actually, the Java programming has been written by two authors. The Java programming, see the diagram, see the color codes. Okay. The Java programming book has been written by the two authors. There are two authors. The Ram Kumar is one of them. So the Ram Kumar ID is A01. I again go to that. Once again, I need to type this B001 for this Java programming. We do have another author. There is one more author there. Who's that? It's George, it's George. So what is the code of George? The code of George, the ID of George is 0A03. Okay. Do you have any other author? No, we don't have any other author. Okay. So this book, Java programming, has been written by the two authors. I have made the entry of all of them. Now let's come to the another book. The another is Apex Coding. Okay, Apex Coding. The record ID of this book is B002. Okay. And this book has been written, let me see the author. The author, there's only one author. The author is Douglas Halls, and the record ID of the Douglas Halls is A02. Okay. Let me go to another book. The another book is testing. Okay. The ID of this testing is actually B00. Now let's come to the author part. Who has written this book? So this book has been written by, one is the Ram Kumar once again. So its author ID is 01. This again B003. This book has been written by one more author. There is one more author. Who's that? It's Douglas Halls. So Douglas Halls is actually A02. Finally, I conclude, because we have concluded this. Okay, we don't have any more books. So now see this. Let me save it. Okay. So this book, this object, the third one object, the common child, the junction object, a book author object, is having two columns. You can create more than two columns also. Like you can create the number of the pages, or you can create a column like the location of the author. You can create the price of the book like this. You can create few more columns. अभी उनकी मुझे जरूरत नहीं है, that is why I'm skipping all this. But ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि book author object में दो ही column होने चाहिए. ये कोई rule नहीं है. I am creating only two columns because I am not intended to create more. There is no need to create. That is the only reason. Otherwise, it can have as many columns as it has. ठीक है, चलिए. So अभी entry कैसे किया? I hope you have understood this. कि for जैसे book B001 के जितने भी authors थे, so we created a separate entry for everyone. B001 has written by A01. Even B001 has also written by A03. B003 has written by A01. In fact, B003 has also been written by A02. So we make, we create separate entry for every book. Now there is no concept कि ये book ने इसने लिखा है, ये author ने यही लिखा है. No, every individual has separate entry over here. So this is how you create the entry inside the common child, inside the junction object. This is how we actually create the junction object. Now is the time to talk about, to have a discussion on the type of relationship. अभी मैंने आपसे ये तो बोल दिया कि whenever this type of problems occurs, you need to solve this problem with the help of many-to-many relationship. And how you are going to create many-to-many? Actually, there is no way to create a direct relationship. So we are going to indirectly associate them. How? Let's create another object. एक और नया object create कर दो. That object will act as a common child for these two parents. And this is something called as the junction object. So when they ask you this in the interview, how you create many-to-many, I hope you are writing all this. ठीक है, मेरा assumption है. देखो मैं हर बार बोलता हूँ, don't be the audience. ठीक है, every time when you take this class, when you आप मोबाइल पे कर रहे हो, आप लैपटॉप से कर रहे हो, स्क्रीन से कर रहे हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Just don't be the audience. This is not a story. I'm not telling you any story. This is not a movie. ठीक है, हर पॉइंट लिखना है, बिकॉज कुछ चीजें नोट्स में है, कुछ चीजें नहीं है. मैं एक्सप्लेन करते वक्त कुछ चीजें बताता हूँ. तो यू नीड टू राइट डाउन एवरी पॉइंट, जस्ट जॉट इट डाउन. ओके, they ask you this question in the interview, how you create many-to-many relationships. They always answer that many-to-many relationship is always created. Many-to-many relationship is always created with the help of a common child, a third object. We need to create a third object which acts like a common child, and this common child object is called a junction object. ठीक है, देखा जाए ना, अगर देखा जाए जिस तरह से मैं ट्रेनिंग आपको दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है, ये बड़ाई की बात नहीं है, मैं एक बात बोल रहा हूँ आपसे, समझिए इस चीज को. आई एम गिविंग यू एग्जैक्ट सेंटेंस टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन. आई एम गिविंग यू एग्जैक्ट सेंटेंसेस कि अगर ये क्वेश्चन पूछा, गिव दिस आंसर, गिव दिस आंसर. अब ये रिकॉर्ड भी हो रहा है ना, तो आपको वही आंसर लिखना है. अगर आप में से किसी को किसी भी तरह की डिफिकल्टी, यू नो, इफ यू प्लीज डोंट माइंड दिस, प्लीज, मेरा काम है आपकी हर डिफिकल्टी पे बात करना, ठीक है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी आर एसोसिएटेड इन दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन यू एंड मी. इफ यू हैव दिस डिफिकल्टी टू क्रिएट द सेंटेंसेस, ठीक है, please don't mind this, okay, this is for everyone. If you have this difficulty with you that you cannot, for the concepts you understand, you are not being able to create a sentence, guys, I'm giving you the exact sentence. What is the problem? Just write down the same sentence, answer the same sentence. How you will create many to many? The many to many relationship is always created. Write down this is the sentence what I'm giving you. You can tell them the exact sentence, no problem. The many-to-many relationship is always created with the help of a third object. That third object is a common child for the two objects. We call it to be the junction object. So that is why the many-to-many relationship is always created with the junction object. What is a junction object? The junction object acts to be a common child for the two parents. You know, the junction object acts to be the common child for the two parents. This is how we create the many-to-many. Now let's discuss about this. What is the kind of association and the relationship between, if these two are related, you know, if the parent and child is related, there must be a form of relationship. What is that form? What is that form? Now see, let's assume for a while that the kind of relationship between these two and these two is lookup relationship. It's lookup relationship. Let's assume that this parent and the child, they are, you know, they are mapped, they have this lookup relationship between them. Okay, let's go with this assumption. Now you tell me one thing. I'm asking you one question. The one who know the answer needs to unmute and tell me one thing. Lookup relationship. Okay, lookup relationship. And you know, listen the question first. Inside the lookup relationship, when you delete the parent record, I'm asking you one question. Just listen it carefully and give the answer those who know it. Inside the lookup relationship, if I delete the parent record, what happens to the child record? Is it deleted or it remains there?
It remains.
The child didn't get deleted.
Yes. So when you delete a parent record, only the parent record is gone. Okay, only the parent record is gone, but it doesn't affect the child record. It doesn't affect the child record. Now let me tell you this. See, if I remove this Java programming record, okay. If this is a lookup relationship, boss, you know, if it is a lookup relationship, for example, it's a lookup relationship. And for a case, if I remove this Java programming record from here, let's assume that Java programming record has been removed. So you tell me one thing, parent record has gone, you know, parent record has gone. Let me select this with this. If I remove, you know, if I remove this Java programming record from here, if I remove this Java programming record from here, so now inside the book object, we don't have any entry related to the Java program. Java programming record has deleted. But because this is a lookup relationship, only the parent will delete it. Child will still have, you know, child will still have this entry B001. B001. Okay. Now you tell me one thing, whether we have any record inside the book whose ID is B001, because child is having it, you know, child mein hai. Child delete nahi hua. Kyun delete nahi hua? Because bhai, it's a lookup relationship. It's a lookup relationship. And that is why only the parent record is deleted, child se delete nahi hua. Child mein abhi bhi B001 hai. B001 दो जगह नजर आ रहा है. Just answer me one thing, whether we have this B001 record ID, do we have any record whose ID is B001 inside the book? है या नहीं है? है या नहीं है? No, it is not there, right? No, it is not there. तो अब ये B001 किसको पॉइंट कर रहा है? This is something called as null pointer exception. इसको बोला जाता है null pointer exception. When there is no record, it's still the object is pointing to something. It is pointing to a null record. There is no record called as B001. Still it have this. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Ideally, it should not be happen. You know, ideally it should not be happen. So what is taking here? Ideally, this should not happen. You know, that is why. Let me clear all these annotations. That is why I tell you one thing. Now let's talk about this. The kind of relationship, between the junction object and the parent object, the child object and the parent object, the relationship type between the junction object and the parent object, it is always master detail relationship. It is always master detail relationship. It is always master detail relationship. Why? I'll give you the answer for this also. I'll give you the answer for this also. It is always master detail relationship between your child, between your junction object and the associated parent, and the associate parent. The kind of relationship is always master detail relationship. It is always the master detail relationship between these two. Why? Let me tell you that. See, now the same scenario. Okay. If I delete this B001 from the book object. Similarly, I deleted this A002 entry from here. Okay. I deleted B001 from the book object. Even I deleted A02 record from the author object. So if you delete the parent, all the associated record inside the child will also get deleted. So first of all, B001, B001 नाम से जितने भी record होंगे, these all are deleted. ठीक है? A02 नाम से जितने भी record होंगे, जहां पर भी A02 होगा, this A02, this will all get deleted. A02, this will all get deleted. ठीक है? This is also going to be deleted. A02, this is also going to be deleted. Now you left with only this B003. Let's check. Go to this table whether we have B03 or not. Yes, we have. A01, whether we have A01 or not. Yes, we have. That is why, this is the practical reason why the junction object should be associated with the both parent in the master, because we want to have that functionality. Whenever we delete the parent record, all the associated child should be deleted. We intentionally want that functionality to be present over here, and that is why, this is the main reason why this junction object is related to this parent in the master detail. This is the reason. Understood, everyone? हाँ या ना? Or should I repeat it? Please tell me you have understood or not. भाई किसी एक को भी शंका है तो प्लीज बताओ यार. चलो हाँ मत बताओ, जिसको शंका है वो ना बोलो, मैं फिर से रिपीट करता है एक बार.
सर प्लीज रिपीट इट वंस.
बहुत बढ़िया. ठीक है, देखिए फंक्शनैलिटी ये बोलती है कि अगर बुक ऑब्जेक्ट से कुछ डिलीट हुआ या ऑथर ऑब्जेक्ट से कुछ भी डिलीट हुआ, तो भाई बुक ऑथर ऑब्जेक्ट से वो एंट्री डिलीट हो जानी चाहिए, बिकॉज ना तो बुक आईडी में वो आईडी रहे जो कि यहाँ नहीं है, और ना ही ऑथर आईडी में वो आईडी रहे जो यहाँ नहीं है. एवरी टाइम या कभी भी whenever you come to see this object, बुक आईडी नाम के कॉलम में केवल वही आईडीज होनी चाहिए जो कि एक्चुअली बुक ऑब्जेक्ट में है, और ऑथर आईडी कॉलम में वही आईडीज होनी चाहिए जो कि एक्चुअली ऑथर ऑब्जेक्ट में है. अगर ये लुकअप में होता तो यहाँ वो भी एंट्रीज होती जो यहाँ पे नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि भाई लुकअप में क्या होता है, अरे यार दिस मीटिंग इज गोइंग टू बी एंडेड इन द 10 minutes. राहुल, I got this notification the meeting is going to be ended in the 10 minutes. So probably you need to set up another link. Okay. So I'm continuing. मैं कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ. राहुल इसके बाद का सीन संभाल लेना तुम. चलिए. So अगर मैं लुकअप रिलेशनशिप रखूंगा ना तो क्या होगा कि आपके बुक ऑब्जेक्ट से चीजें डिलीट तो हो जाएंगी, आईडीज डिलीट तो हो जाएंगे, बट दैट आईडी विल बी प्रेजेंट इनसाइड दिस कॉलम। आपके ऑथर ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं, रिकॉर्ड डिलीट होगा, आईडी भी डिलीट हो जाएगी, ठीक है। बट देन बट देन यू नो बट देन ऑथर आईडी विल हैव दिस। तो हमें हमें ऐसा फंक्शनैलिटी नहीं चाहिए, हमें ये फंक्शनैलिटी चाहिए कि भाई जो बुक ऑब्जेक्ट में जितने भी रिकॉर्ड्स हैं केवल वही आईडी यहाँ होनी चाहिए, ऑथर में जितने भी रिकॉर्ड्स हैं केवल वही आईडी होना चाहिए। और अगर इनमें से कोई डिलीट होता है, तो भाई नीचे चाइल्ड से भी वो डिलीट हो जाना चाहिए। तो वी वांट टू हैव दैट फंक्शनैलिटी एंड दैट इज द रीजन वी गो विद द मास्टर डिटेल। तो ये चीज आपको मास्टर डिटेल में मिल सकता है, आपको लुकअप में नहीं मिल सकता। लुकअप में तो पेरेंट रिकॉर्ड डिलीट होता है तो केवल पेरेंट होता है, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू डिलीट इट द चाइल्ड। लेकिन कैस्केड डिलीट बोलते हैं जिसको, ये फंक्शनैलिटी आपको मास्टर डिटेल में ही मिलती है, ठीक है। चलो अभी समझा या फिर से समझाऊं? मैं बिल्कुल समझा सकता हूँ, कोई चिंता नहीं, जब तक आपको ना समझे। प्लीज टेल मी।
ओके सर,
नहीं समझा है तो प्लीज टेल मी। नौशाद, you raised hand, so tell me what is that? Yes, Naushad, you raised hand. Naushad, I'm unable to hear you. Anyway, so let me go ahead with this. This is a theoretical concept. So there are only a few questions related to this. First of all, what is why to create the many to many? So you got this. When there are two objects, both of them tends to be the parent, you cannot go with the direct relationship. There is only one solution to do this, and that is go with the many to many. Everything has been written, just jot it down, read it, याद कर लो, same answer दे दो. How to form the many to many? Many to many form is formed by creating a junction object, which acts like a common child. ठीक है. What is the kind of association between junction object and the parent? Answer is written. It is, junction object is always associated with the master detail relationship. Now you ask me one more thing कि सर तीसरा भी ऑब्जेक्ट हो सकता है क्या? पेरेंट? नो 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 नो। व्हाई आई वांट आंसर फ्रॉम यू। क्या तीसरा ऑब्जेक्ट हो सकता है जंक्शन ऑब्जेक्ट से एसोसिएट? क्या तीसरा कॉलम बना सकता हूँ? आई वांट दिस आंसर फ्रॉम यू। नो नो नो, इट इज नॉट देयर। व्हाई नो? तीसरा ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं हो सकता। जंक्शन कैन बी एसोसिएटेड विद टू पेरेंट्स ओनली। क्यों? क्यों यार क्यों?
वो गवर्नर लिमिट है सर उसकी कि मैक्सिमम 2 ही पेरेंट रह सकते हैं मास्टर डिटेल में।
Yes, yes. In case of a master detail, see point number 7. In case of a master detail, a child object can be associated with two parents only. That's it. This is a child object, boss. ये आपका child object है. It can be associated with दो ही parent हो सकते हैं इसके master detail में. हाँ, इसको चाहो तो lookup से associate कर लेना किसी और से, पर वहां पे आपकी फंक्शनैलिटी मिनी टू मिनी से कोई लेना देना नहीं है अपने को, ठीक है। आप बुक ऑथर ऑब्जेक्ट को किसी से भी रिलेट कर लो लुकअप में। अप टू 40 रिलेशनशिप यू कैन क्रिएट, नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट। लेकिन हम बात कर रहे हैं मेनी टू मेनी की, और मेनी टू मेनी में ये एसोसिएट होगा केवल 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 दो पेरेंट। तो अगर किसी भी तरह से घुमा फिरा के क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए कि क्या मैं तीसरा ऑब्जेक्ट भी एसोसिएट कर सकता हूँ, आंसर है नो नो। क्यों नहीं? बिकॉज द चाइल्ड कैन बी एसोसिएटेड विद टू पेरेंट्स, ओनली टू पेरेंट्स इन केस ऑफ मास्टर डिटेल, ठीक है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं। ये एक और क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, देखिए मैंने लिखा नहीं है क्वेश्चन, प्लीज राइट इट डाउन, ठीक है। और इनका हाँ, व्हाट वाज दैट? While deleting the parent, all the associated child is also deleted. We intentionally want this functionality, ऐसा इसीलिए है, और इसीलिए master detail relationship रहती है. So this was all related to the master detail relationship, or sorry, many to many relationship. I am having 5 more minutes to end this meeting. चलिए, see, अब कुछ चीजें many to many तो मैंने आपको पढ़ा दिया. What is the conceptual meaning of many to many and what are the things related to many to many? Everything we have seen. Now let's talk about a few standard relationships, apart from this custom agar aapko karna hai to you have to go with all these steps, but let's talk about there are few objects, there are few objects inside the Salesforce, typically the standard objects. Between them there is a many to many relationship, so what are those objects and what is the name, what is the relationship with the object and their junction object name? You need to remember this. ये आपको याद करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है, ये आपको याद करना पड़ेगा. सो आई एम मेकिंग दिस टेबल, इसको आप अच्छे से बनाएंगे. व्हाट इज द रिलेशनशिप, देन व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ जंक्शन ऑब्जेक्ट, लेट मी टेल यू दैट. सो बिटवीन कैंपेन एंड द लीड, अगर आप गौर करो तो मैंने इसको बनाया इस तरीके से है कि ये याद करने में आसानी हो. कैंपेन एंड लीड, कैंपेन एंड लीड, देन लीड टू कॉन्टैक्ट, then contact to opportunity and opportunity to product and product to price. अगर आप थोड़ा सा गौर करें यहाँ पे तो यू कैन सी कि ये याद हो सकता है. Okay, so between campaign and lead, these are the two standard. Every all of them are actually the standard object. Between campaign and lead, we have many to many relationship already there. This is the standard relationship we have not created. They are related in many to many. What is the name of junction object? भाई अगर many to many है तो junction object भी होगा. Junction object का नाम है campaign member. Between the lead and contact, again junction object is campaign member, that common child for two parents. Okay. Between contact and opportunity, it's opportunity contact role नाम का junction object है. Between opportunity and the product, opportunity line item नाम से, product and the price book entry के नाम से. ये थोड़ा सा अपने को याद करना पड़ेगा. ये टेबल बनाएंगे और इसको याद करेंगे. These are the few standard objects. Those who are actually, those who are having this many to many relationship implemented by default. So between the campaign and lead, there is many to many, and this is the name of junction object. Between the lead and contact, there's many to many. This is the name of the junction object. Between contact and opportunity, again there is many to many. With this junction object, they are related. Between opportunity and the product, between product and the price book, you have all this. Okay. So बहुत सी table बनाए, याद करें. I'll start the hierarchy relationship after this meeting. Let me end this meeting because it's about to end. तो मैं अभी इसके बाद में I'm going to start the hierarchy and campaign member. Yes, it is connected to three parents. Don't worry about that. Campaign lead contact. ठीक है. Lead is the common. Lead common ही होता है यहाँ पे. तो उससे टेंशन मत लो, ये स्टैंडर्ड ही रिलेशनशिप है वैसे भी, और हमें ऐसे ही पढ़ना है उसको. अगर हम क्रिएट करने जाएंगे तो वी नीड टू हैव दैट गवर्नर लिमिट ओवर हियर कि हमको सिर्फ 2 ही एसोसिएट करना है. बट दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज इंप्लीमेंटेड बाय द सेल्सफोर्स. तो अब इसका मेटा डेटा में 3 कॉलम्स बना रखा है उसने, तो ऑब्वियसली हमको वैसे ही पढ़ना है. If we need to create, always remember कि one child can be associated with the 2 parents only. ठीक है. But campaign is associated with the 3. तो ठीक है, वो अब जैसा बनाया Salesforce ने, this is something which has been implemented by the Salesforce. तो ठीक है, अपन को वैसा पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. ठीक है. It's a good catch. तो ठीक है, मैं मीटिंग एंड कर रहा हूँ अभी, और probably you are going to get a new meeting link and you need to join with that.